Hello, this is Nathan, better known as CrazyhermitDM, and this is my podcast, The Hermit's Homebrew. Joining me today is Brent from Langeministudio that can be found on Instagram, as well as Kilk, who can be found on TikTok as well as Twitter.
Again, last night had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I will go ahead and get into that here in a little bit. But earlier last week, I posted on Instagram because Instagram lets us do the anonymous question thing. I really wish TikTok would.
Yeah.
I really wish TikTok would add that on that way.
For as long as you guys can be on TikTok.
Yeah, until it's banned.
Until it's banned in the US or gets in an American company.
Yeah. I also got one on Threads from our friends at the Chaos Den podcast. They wanted to ask a question.
Okay, cool.
They want to ask us how do we go about like introducing new people to a TTRPG and bring into the fold without overwhelming them with information, rules, and like a crazy amount of books to read. Mm-hmm, I know you and me, Chase, have talked about this like a couple of times, especially with like Rama/Vicky. I don't know. What do you think?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I said like you and me, like.
Well, it's hard, right? Because it turns into this: what is the most important information you want to give them? But D&D is full of just small little things, right? That most people just don't know. Like even seasoned players, there's so much stuff in D&D that you don't know. So
you also played like Kilk, like your what is it? You played a shifter, Gloomstalker. I can't remember which type of shifter it was. It was the feline one.
Yeah.
You
Longtooth? Longtooth?
I think it was Longtooth. Yeah.
It was Longtooth, but you jumped in that character because, like, in essence, Kilk was, I really feel like 80% you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I did play Kilk a lot. Like, that's probably a good thing to say to people, right? Play the character, play the way that speaks to you. And if you're not used to like being a voice actor or like acting through things, like, then just play you, right?
Yeah, I know. When my ex first moved over here and then joined, and she'd been like, me and her had done like there's stuff on like Tumblr and other sites for like writing like role playing stuff for like you write a paragraph, then I write a paragraph, and that.
Yeah.
She was a little bit more used to like jumping into that. So for a person that like is used to the role playing thing but not used to maybe like doing it in person, I still recommend playing somebody that's like, in a way, every character you play is going to be some sort of like what's the word? Just like a part of you.
Yeah, you're going to put a little bit of your own personality on it. You can't not do it.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, for people like that, just have a little bit of experience in that field of like role playing, or we all have social anxiety in one form or another. So that's a big key factor, and it's a matter of comfort as well. That's what I'd say is just like, Chase, you probably did it, I'd say, like the easiest, just like make a character that's roughly 60-80% you, and add on like a couple of traits. And don't worry if you're like new to the like game, unless like everybody's green, don't worry about the rules. Like the rules will come up as they come up. Like even last night when we were playing, I off the top of my head, I don't know what the frightened condition does. I had to actually look up conditions.
Same here, actually, is what my character does.
Yeah. Even 15 years in, you have 10 years of 5th edition. I think it's now almost 10, 11 years. I think.
Oh, is it? Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know all the rules. But we're also a rules light group,
That's true. Yeah. Wow, it is old. It is 10 years.
Yeah, it's 2014, 13-ish. 12 almost, I think, even.
Man, it might be 12.
I'd have to actually look that time frame up. But beside the point, just like I feel like we've, especially with Rama and Vicky, that's probably the easiest like thing I've done. She's probably the easiest person we've slid into it. Just like she's struggled or whatever, but that's more just like herself thinking that she ain't doing great, even though she's
doing fantastic.
Yeah. She's really stepped up. Like she's gone to, I feel like, the next level of player in these last like 3 or 4 sessions even.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah.
The other question that came in was asking if we'd ever be interested in doing a live play.
We're not actors, but I'm always down to make a fool out of myself.
I would be up for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially now that I'm researching overlays and all that. And once I get kind of that down, I think with OBS and Power Director, Mueller and all that, and because if I'm going to do it, I want to do it, and I want to show people if we're doing a live play. So.
Yeah.
But
Right.
play wise, like doing it live and we had all the equipment to do it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe not an ongoing campaign for sure, but
yeah, maybe
some
a couple of one shots or
Yeah.
a couple like 3-4 shot type things, like
Yeah.
mini campaigns or whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
I know Nerdarchy on YouTube, they do like 12 session episode
Oh
arcs.
yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then with you guys, apparently one of the viewers is struggling. They're asking, how do you add players' backstories like into the campaign?
That can be difficult.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff can happen on a session 0, especially when if ahead of time the DM says, "Hey, we're gonna have a session 0, get some cool character ideas, but we're not gonna set anything in stone until we sit down for a session 0." Then the DM can talk about the tone of the game, the setting, kind of give everybody the idea of what type of game the DM is looking to play, and then the character or the players can then talk amongst themselves about what characters they want to play and everything, so they can make a party that works together, and then you can make your backstory from there. If you have a character that maybe didn't take part in that, or if you have that rare player that doesn't care, then yeah, it does make it difficult. But nothing says that you have to put the players or the character's backstory in right now. You can let the campaign develop a little bit, and you'll get like that aha moment where, oh, hey, I know if we do this, maybe if I can adjust a little bit, and then we can, move forward with that. I know with a couple of my characters didn't have backstories because I was, hey, what's everyone else playing? Oh, well, I'm playing this, I'm playing that. So then I'm not going to say I got stuck with a character or a class or anything, but I got stuck. I was like, oh, okay, I've never played that before. Cool. I just made that character. And then their backstory developed as I played the game. So it can be difficult, but I guess the point I'm trying to get to is you don't have to do it right now. You don't have to do it right out of the gate.
Now,
give yourself a break. Just take it easy. Let the creative process do its thing. Let it percolate in the back of your mind, and you will get an idea. It will happen.
What about you, Chase? Like, if you're running a game, and what do you recommend, like from a dungeon master's point of view?
I mean, I feel like a lot of that stuff happens anyway, right? Throughout the campaign. Backstories get developed and stuff like that. So I don't think there should be any rush on what your character's backstory is. I think that, it was only a few episodes ago where we talked about, where is Toy Bar born, right? Like, we didn't even go over that. Like,
No.
Oh, yeah.
And then I just rolled the fudge dice and I was like, oh, I guess he's in Herfell. Like,
for my recommendation, because this is worded from the DM's point of view, like, I'd highly just recommend probably just talking to the players, and like, if you're coming up with ideas for the character or whatever, the player's character, just talk to them like, hey, this is, without revealing too much about whatever plot you have, this is kind of the general idea of what I'm coming up with. I did that with Brent, and I've done that with Chase. Like, Brent or whatever, at the beginning of this campaign, you had the Shield of the Hidden Lord from the Descent to Avernus book, and I'm like,
yep.
Hey, I don't want to use this as a demon. I want to bring in something that's more Nordic. So what about if I brought in Surtur in place of this? Like, because Surtur died in the very first campaign with Brent, and so I'm like, hey, this is going to be a little bit of a surreal moment. What happens if the fragment of the final boss of your last campaign is actually stuck inside this shield?
That's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and we talk about Rama, right? Like, she didn't have a backstory initially.
No.
Oh yeah, her backstory has developed with the campaign. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing for like newer players, right? Just make your character, and as you talked about, just let it evolve over time. Like, the random ideas that pop into your head throughout a campaign, especially a long campaign, right? Because we're on like session 40 something.
The
47.
Yay.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing you can do is just like the personality, the flaw trait thing or whatever. Just like you in particular, Chase, have like one of like somebody stole something from you.
Yeah.
Work off that.
Yeah, and I don't even really use it, right?
No.
Because it's never really come up until Colfax stole something from me, right?
No, there's one flaw that I really like, and I've done before with the previous character. I can't remember what background it is, but it's if somebody speaks a word or something that's too big or you don't understand, you automatically perceive it as a threat, or
wow.
or as an insult.
Okay,
that's funny. Like you're getting hit with vicious mockery or something.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But imagine like you're just like using like a word that doesn't get used every day, like. This situation is not advantageous towards me.
What's that supposed to mean?
Yeah, what the fuck does advantageous mean?
Oh wow.
Yeah, you're using big words. And you trying to confuse me?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's with I like the bond flaw ideal setting that 5th edition has.
Mm-hmm.
I like that in place of the quote unquote alignment system. I ran into a lot of people that would use the alignment to very like pigeonhole themselves. And I'm sorry if you're the person that came up with this idea, but I'm stealing it. To where alignment is supposed to be descriptive, not prescriptive. Alignment is supposed to help you figure out how to play your character and what would your character do in any particular situation. The same with the bonds, flaws, and ideals. These are not telling you how to play your character. You don't have to go, oh, well, because of my flaw, I have to be, like with Toy Bar, someone stole something from him and he wants to get it back. He could be super suspicious of everybody around him. Oh, well, someone stole from me one time and, well, I'm thinking everyone's going to steal from me now. He's not like that.
Yeah.
But when it did happen, he got serious. So don't think that just because you have a bond, flaw, and ideal, that you have, like you said, Chase, it doesn't come up in every conversation, but it does give you like little guideposts of, oh, hey, because my character has this ideal, maybe I should, say this instead. Don't think that you have to play your character any one certain way. Have fun. That's the point. Just as the ideas that they are.
For sure, like it's the same with 5th edition with any rules. The incorporating like the personalities, flaws, and traits and all that. They're guidelines.
Yeah. Pirates Code guidelines.
Guideline. You don't have to use it if you don't. If you're like 10 sessions in and you're enjoying your character the way it is and it goes against the personality or the trait,
change it.
Okay, change it or just ignore it.
Yeah. Erase it.
Maybe that was the person that you were before the campaign and you've already changed.
Yeah. People grow. Characters grow. It's all good.
But the next question isn't so much actually a question, it's a comment, and I did show Brent this yesterday at the game table. It was somebody saying how they love the podcast, but we do seem to abuse our paladin a lot.
Whoever you are my friend now. I don't know who that is, but thank you for recognizing my plight.
Even though these are anonymous, it does show me like who sends them, so I should just write down the little gamer tags that go with them and then ask.
I mean, to be fair, we have to abuse our paladin a lot. We don't have another frontliner.
No.
Like that's it. Like he's our only true melee champion in this entire party, right? We don't have anyone else that wants to stand there and tank hits.
Yeah, everyone else that has died.
No, and then we did have Tove, but she's turned into a druid, so it's become ranged. We did gain 2 NPCs yesterday, but one is a crossbow using bard and the other is a wizard.
So we just stack Merrick in the front and hope everything hits him.
Yeah, everyone's 30 to 60 feet back, and then there's just me out in the middle of nowhere going, oh, well, hope I survive this. For the most part, though, it has worked out into something funny.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Like the guys on the limworm didn't work, and like that just wastes my turn when I do that, right? So
yeah.
Sometimes it puts the party in a little bit of an awkward situation, but generally speaking, something interesting happens usually.
Everybody survived and we won. It's all good.
Yeah.
Got a little scary last night, but
Oh, well, yeah, but we can go over that later.
Like if everyone would have failed.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Except for the wasps, that would have been rough.
Oh, that would have been terrible, but
so this next one's kind of a more generalized question. They're asking, what's our like biggest tip for running a killer game night? For me, I'll start. What you guys think? One, if you have the chance, play with your friends. That's probably my number one piece of advice, is to play with your friends. That, and just because I didn't get my dad bod without being a dad for no reason, have good snacks. Food is usually a pretty good universal bonder among people that even maybe you don't usually wouldn't talk to.
True. Yeah.
What would you say, Chase? What would you your biggest tip for running a killer or a good game night?
I would say if you're a DM, it's understanding what your party enjoys, right? If you have a party that enjoys the role play, then, go into role play heavy sessions. If you have a party that enjoys combat, like we talked about, Voodoo or Nick, he loves combat sessions. And I enjoy combat sessions too, but that's the gamer in me. But if your party's combat heavy, then go combat heavy. Have a good time. If it's not, then don't. Our party is good enough to where we can do both and have a good time.
Yeah.
But not every party is like that, right?
No.
I know I see stuff online sometimes where people are upset because they've gone 4 sessions without a fight, and I'm like, okay, well then talk to your DM.
You go on Reddit or these different sites, and they talk about problems with their group, and the number one reoccurring thing that always I'm going to say 90% of the time that pops up is just, have you talked to your group? No. Have you talked to your DM? No. Then why are you coming to us then? Why don't you come to them first?
Yeah, exactly.
It's because they're scared of in-person conflict with their friend group. I might come to Nathan, for instance, and say, I didn't like that last session. I would rather do a lot more fighting. That doesn't mean we're going to be doing fighting all the time, but he's probably going to take it into account moving down the line where he might throw an extra combat section in there, right? But they also have to understand that combat takes a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Except for last night where you guys knocked out 3 or 4 combats in one session. I think that was the most combat intensive thing.
That was pretty intense. Yeah.
But you guys rolled.
Well, we also stopped the boss from resummoning things, so
it was really nice.
Shortened the combat by a lot.
Oh, I hate ads. I hate ads.
And just to add on to your comment, I think if you do feel like you're going to have a fight with your group, or if it's going to be a confrontational thing, the thing that I've prided myself with, not only at the table, but in my personal relationships, my romantic ones, my friendships, and all that, is if I get into a fight or a disagreement with somebody and it does get heated, I will always try my best not to lower myself to name calling or putting down.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's just going to make it 10 times worse, because then you're making it personal as opposed to something that could probably just easily be solved, especially at a game table.
I would agree with that for the most part.
Yeah. Oh yeah, politics is mostly communication and a differencing of ideology.
Politics and religion are outside that idea, because you can communicate one of those things perfectly clear, and if the other person doesn't believe in that or doesn't believe that you're right, then you're going to have that's a fundamental basis of, disagreement. All the communication in the world sometimes can't fix that. I will generally agree, though, that a lot of problems can be solved with just, hey, this is where I'm coming from. Oh, okay. I didn't think about that, but here's where I'm coming from. Oh, okay. And then you find a happy middle ground.
Yeah, especially in D&D and at the table, right?
Especially in something,
because everything's made up here.
Yeah, it's all fake. It's all make believe. Yeah,
we can adjust anything we want.
Yeah,
nobody plays D&D straight from the rule book.
Oh yeah,
I've not met a single person that followed rule books 100%.
And you guys know that I don't follow the food or the rations rule whatsoever. I think it bogs things down a bit. If that's going to be the theme of your next arc, we have to travel across the desert and all that sort of stuff, and it's going to be scarce, I'm going to incorporate that then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't even incorporate the encumbered rules. I think the closest thing I've come close to it as actually within these last 2 sessions is you guys picked up literally every piece of those copper and filled the bag of holdings full. Yeah, one of your bag of holdings is full. You're going to have to start putting in another one. You just cannot fit anything more in it, and it will not let you. I go, when you try and put it in there, it rolls off to the side of the bag.
We probably need to get rid of those copper coins. We probably don't need them.
We need to trade them in.
Yeah.
Ye old Muspelheim money exchanger.
Here's a good one to ask too, and it came actually, I'm pretty 90% sure. Unfortunately, I did not, like I said, I didn't write the gamer tags. How do you introduce a scary villain? For me, especially since like we won't even stay with like D&D, especially with like a Call of Cthulhu or like a horror thing. Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing. There's another writing trick that I learned from, there's an online courses for fantasy writing from Brandon Sanderson, which are free like writing classes. He posts his hour lectures online. I've like watched 19 of them, so I've literally taken a couple semesters of his classes.
I like him as an author. He's good.
But the way you can also do it is just like confirmation through like a third party, basically, like maybe not with a scary thing, but like in comparison of an example, like you could say this NPC suddenly says like this like random tidbit, like, oh, Mina says this like random history fact, and then another NPC comes in and it's like, oh, how did you know that? You're so smart. You're basically getting that confirmation of like, oh, this NPC is actually smart, or this, oh, well, this NPC talks about a particular fighting maneuver, and then another one like maybe one that's like a big head of a fighters guild. Oh, how did you know that? It's like, that's an advanced move that only so-and-so with this amount of experience knows, and you're only like a first or second year in our Fighters Guild Hogwarts or whatever you have. But
that's
Fighters Guild Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Fight Club Hogwarts.
Fight Club Hogwarts, yeah. Harry and Ron just, going below the bathroom in the Chamber of Secrets.
Chamber of Secrets just duking it out.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, just foreshadowing, for me at least. That's how I set up my villains. I've definitely, with this one, you guys haven't even run into the main villain. Any of them. It's all been foreshadowing and just talking about the shit that they're up to or doing. Brent, I know.
Making them powerful in a way too, right?
Yeah.
And whether that's physically imposing, like when we talk about Xingshi, or this person's a god, when we talk about Rathgriff, like those things are very scary. But like Mahadi, for instance, he was scary in his own way. So you have to make sure that whoever you're bringing in as a villain has to make the party feel like they are overmatched in some way, shape, or form, whether it's intelligence, whether it's strength, whether it's battle prowess, whether it's raw, unfiltered elemental power, like that person, or conniving, right? It could be a spy network, and this is like Spy King. And so out of nowhere, assassins might just come out of everywhere. Like, this guy is imposing because he keeps sending these people who are trying to kill us constantly. We never know what's happening. Those types, that's how you create a real villain in the end.
One of the scenes that really I thought was super cool was in the second John Wick movie at the very end. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. After John Wick kills the guy at the end, he gets excommunicated from the shadowy underworld, and he meets the guy that's in charge of the Continental that tells him, hey, dude, you're screwed. You're getting kicked out. They're meeting in a public place. There's a crowd milling all around, random people just going all about their day, but a phone goes off. Everybody in this crowd, I'm talking like dozens of people, just stops what they're doing and turns and stares at John. I got goosebumps in that because I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. It's literally the world that they have on a string. And he's like, you have an hour. That's all I can give you. Good luck. And then he just sprints off. It's like, oh, okay. And so there's that, that control. There's that subtle connection of like, assassins come over. It's like, and I agree with what you said, Chase. The players have to have a feeling of disadvantage. Mm-hmm. If the players are in their element, if they have been able to control the battlefield, if they've been able to prepare correctly, if they've got everything going for them, then why would they be afraid?
Hey, tabletop gamers. Thank you for watching this episode of the Hermit's Homebrew. We come out with new episodes every Wednesday. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends as we continue to level up and grow.